You're welcome back. You're still watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. Well, it's 6 months since the declaration of 2021 as African Continental Free Trade Area Year, AfCFTA, by reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers to intra-African trade. The initiative could boost regional export by 29% and income by 7% between 2020 and 2035. Analysts have said that AfCFTA's potential may not be fully realized without stronger digital connectivity and effective policies. Is Africa ready for this? 6 months after the declaration, where is the continent in maximizing this forum? The Chief Executive Officer of Web Fountain, Leon Sis, joins us now to share his thoughts. Hello, Mr. Sis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me, Mr. Sis?
Sorry?
Okay, all right. So the AfCFTA is governed by online negotiating forum, digital payment system, among others. How effective is digital connectivity that should accelerate this on the continent at this time?
So basically, there's 5 instruments that govern the CTA. The first is the rule of origin. Then there's the online negotiation forum. You have the monitoring and elimination of non-tariff barriers, digital payment systems, and the African Trade Observatory. Basically, the digital connectivity can clearly support 3 of these instruments. First one is rule of origin. Concerning rules of origin, it's important that goods benefiting from the agreements were entirely or partially produced in Africa. It is important that goods arriving out of Africa, entering in a country, then sold to another African country do not benefit from any tax relief. So products originated in the continent should be clearly labeled made in Africa. So the digitalization of the rules of origin using technology such as blockchain or artificial intelligence to detect potential fraud will play a crucial role in creating confidence between the participating countries and administrations. Another of the instruments is everything dealing with digital payments. So digital payments is something that is quite important, I think. We have seen a lot of work has been done in this area, specifically during the COVID period. So the solution that will have to be proposed to the states is to be able to use high-tech means of payment, such as bank transfers, credit card payments, but also methods that are today commonly used by our people, such as mobile money, right? So mobile money is something that should be included in these services, and it will also be important to cater for the small businesses and allow a smooth transition from manual payments to the electronic payments, digital agents of payments, and this can be done using cash payments, but in a way allowing to secure and track the payments. So these are the areas I think that digitalization could play a major role.
All right, but a majority of the businesses in this region are micro and small enterprises, and they have less capacity in terms of financing options and digital skills. How can this category of businesses adapt their business operations to compete in the regional and global markets?
Small and medium enterprises represent today 80% of Africa's business, which is huge. That's really quite important. So one of the main objectives of this, basically, CFTA is to increase, in fact, the way they can exchange and do trade in between African countries. So one of the good things in COVID crisis is that it has accelerated the adoption of digital technology across the world. We find this everywhere, in fact. The lockdown restriction created a rare opportunity for many SMEs to engage with digital technologies, allowing businesses to stay operational, in fact, and access new markets. Unfortunately, given the enormous digital divide we witness in Africa, the benefits of this digitalization have been unevenly distributed. So only a few SMEs today are capable of navigating and integrating into digital platforms. This is where we can, private sector can definitely play a role. While adopting solutions like single window platforms or digital payments, basically, in one pattern, we provide what we call internet cafes, for example. Internet cafes are basically places where we provide computers, printers, scanning machine to the trade, basically, and we support them so that they can process their IT business while we are around them and helping them to go through the process. This is an important step so that SMEs and as well the informal sector will be able to play a role in this new IT technology. So this is something as well. We set up these systems and we try to work with them very closely. And of course, when we set up such programs, digitalizing programs, but we do a lot. We do a lot of capacity building and training. We have huge projects in various countries working with not only the private sector, but also with government authorities that need to be really supported.
So when you talk of these steps that should be taken, the private and the public, what urgent steps should nations be taking, nations on the region be taking at this time to maximize the potentials of AfCFTA?
Yeah. I think digitalization is something that is important, but there's a lot of other things that we should look at. Today we have a lot of challenges to implement this intra-African trade. We have things such as border closures, travel bans, protectionism, and this is something we should have to move away from. So a lot of initiatives, I think, have already started in Africa, and I think this should be praised. I think the Nigerian government, for example, set up a committee. I think it's the National Action Committee, was set up by the President Buhari some years ago. And this committee is comprised by representatives, ministries, regulatory agencies, departments, but as well selected stakeholders, groups from the private sector and the civil society in order to coordinate the CFTA readiness. So this is really, I think it's an important step. Basically, we are putting everybody together, all the minds, private and government, to see how things can move forward. And I think it's a very good initiative. But in addition to digitalization, there's things that we should look at. I think the implementation of economic policies to attract investors, this is really important. We should start investing, having in industries, more industries in Africa. We need to promote the ease of doing business. So setting up solutions like single window solutions, computerizing customs and so on. We should provide tax reliefs, especially for the SMEs.
All right, Mr.
And
Sis,
of course, movement of goods. Movement of goods is something important.
This is obviously an ongoing conversation. I mean, when we talk of FCA, the angles are very, very much. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and sharing your thoughts with us on how to maximize the AfCFTA forum at this time. Mr. Alioune Sis is the Chief Executive Officer of Web Fountain, and he joined us from the United Arab Emirates.